Like Renault's mid-engined monster, the Sport Clio V6, which we reckon will be the hottest hatch ever. And as for Vauxhall's startling new VX220, well, I'll be seeing whether it drives as well as it looks later in the series. But you won't have to wait that long to find out about Audi's pert A2. Jason will be testing that later in the show.
And later this year, I'll be getting my hands on this patriotic little lot. The SV8, which marks the welcome return of Jenson, the 160-mile-an-hour Noble M12, and the outrageous 880 brake horsepower TVR Speed 12, which, after 3 years of promises, has finally arrived.
Plus, significant new stuff from Mercedes-Benz, from Vauxhall again, from Chrysler, and this. It may not be the most head-turning car here, but it is definitely the most symbolic. This is the TV debut of the 75 Estate, the first new product from New Rover.
So you see, Top Gear is the only car show you need.
If it matters, you'll see it here. Take a look at this.
Under this cover is without doubt the most important car to be launched this year. It's already destined to become a bestseller. And even if you never buy one, you'll know someone who does. This is the new Mondeo. Ford will release official shots next week, but in a world exclusive, they've allowed Top Gear to show a few tantalising glimpses. The whole motor industry has been keenly awaiting their first look at this car, and now they're getting it, along with you. Pretty good, eh? And we haven't even got to the opening titles yet.
Also in tonight's Top Gear, I test the ultimate posemobile, Ferrari's 360 Spider. And Tiff goes head-to-head with F1 star Jenson Button in a diesel.
The Mercedes A-Class, a vision of the future from the company that invented the car in the first place. The most cleverly packaged car since the Mini. Tall, short, roomy, chic, and great to have a crash in, which unfortunately someone did. Famously, the A-Class failed a violent swerve test and fell over. After some frantic modifications, the car was relaunched 6 months later. The A-Class was fixed, but that clear-sighted vision of the future had clouded over a bit, and I can see even stormier conditions ahead. Because this, the brand new Audi A2, is intended to take small car design even further. Bigger on the inside, tinier on the outside, safe, economical, and above all, more stylish than ever before. Just look at it. I'm just trying to take it in. I mean, it's not as shocking as the A-Class was when we first saw that, but it's still odd. Odd, but right. I'm very much an Audi as well. Obviously, we have the 4-ring logo, but on the A2, we have this as well. Now, they call this the service module. So you have the world's longest, oh, it keeps on coming, the world's longest dipstick there to check your oil. You fill your oil, put your oil in there, you've got water here, yes, it's all very nice. Now, what else do we have here that says Audi? Well, big, bold wheel arches, very German 6-spoke alloy wheels, and the whole car has this precision, machined, very German feel. It certainly feels a lot tougher than a Ford Fiesta. But as lovely as these individual design elements are, well, the thing that strikes you most about the A2 is the frankly hunchback profile. It's actually more of a teardrop. And the reason it looks this way is so that it's got maximum aerodynamic efficiency. Now, you may be wondering why you need to worry about aerodynamics. Well, I'll tell you, 60 miles per gallon. That's what it means. Looks quite spacious to me. Very empty at the moment. Or is it? Ah, It's got a false floor. Fantastic. Very Sherlock Holmesy. Now, I'm a 6-footer and there's supposed to be room for 4 full-size adults in this car. Let's see. Well, would you believe it? It really is very spacious in here. In fact, I'm impressed.
No, I'm very impressed. But what's it like to drive? Well, I'll let you into a little secret. I'm not actually expecting it to be that good. Now, why on earth should I say that? Well, I'm thinking A-Class again. The A2 is similar in size, shape and concept. Therefore, I'm expecting it to handle like a tugboat in a tidal wave.
But I'm wrong, because some serious lessons have been learned here. The A2 feels agile, it steers faithfully, and most surprising of all, it grips tenaciously despite its comically narrow body. Overall, well, it inspires much greater confidence than its arch-rival, the Mercedes A-Class.
But its ride quality isn't perfect. Even on very smooth roads, you feel every ridge and imperfection. The good news is that its eager road manners make up for that. Blimey, it's almost sporty enough to be fun.
The A2 is a surprisingly perky little drive. The gear change has a brisk, positive action, and even though there's only a 1.4-litre petrol engine stashed away into that stubby little bonnet, Audi has made its 75 brake horsepower go a surprisingly long way. You know, I do feel as though I'm perched on a space hopper. Still, it's light and airy in here, and in almost every respect, the A2's cabin feels like it belongs in a bigger, more expensive car. The dash is neat and well laid out, the steering wheel's nice and chunky, and these seats are firm but comfortable. Okay, so it's not as adventurous as the exterior styling, but it does still feel impressively solid, despite the car's overall dinkiness.
So, good to look at, surprisingly good to drive, beautifully put together, and fantastically frugal. Sounds to me like the A2 is the most impressive new car of the 21st century. The future of motoring, no less.
Provided you can afford it, that is.
You'll be paying a big premium for those 4 rings in the front. The basic A2 weighs in at £13,150, while the SE I'm driving is a shade over £15,000. But hang on a minute. The Focus 1.8 Z-Tech is one of Britain's best-selling cars. It's faster, it's roomier, it's more fun to drive, and it's £2,000 cheaper than the top-of-the-range A2. The only thing it lacks is the right badge. So, if there's a Focus on your driveway, congratulations, you've made a very rational choice, but not necessarily the right one. You can dismiss more expensive alternatives by saying you're just paying for the name, and true, most premium products aren't all they're cracked up to be.
As far as the A2 is concerned, well, I think it is.
The Ferrari 360 Modena. Indulge in those gorgeous looks, the outstanding handling and supreme performance. Whether you spend your days in a first form classroom or a Formula One cockpit, this is the car of driving dreams. But if it's more your dream to just be seen, then Ferrari has come up with a little something to suit. The 360 Spider. Listen and learn.
Introduzione.
18 months after the launch of the fixed-head 360, we get this, the Look at Me version. Apart from not having a roof, the other differences are a diddy downforce-inducing spoiler and a lockable cubbyhole. Well, you've got to keep your bottle of fake tan somewhere. When it goes on sale in October, it'll be one of the fastest drop tops money can buy. Not that prices have been announced yet. But you know what they say, if you have to ask...
Tutti I dati.
The numbers are impressive. The superb 3.6 V8 produces 400 bhp, punches to 62 in 4.6 seconds and doesn't stop till you're the naughty side of 180. You've never been able to pose so quickly. But the figures only tell half the story, because there is such a huge sense of occasion sitting here, knowing that you're in the very latest offering from the world's most famous marque. The cabin feels so special and is full of emotive touches, from the drilled pedals to the soul-stirring prancing horse constantly in view. But best of all is the thrilling assault on the senses you get, which is all derived from the fact that you're out in the open. Everything you feel and hear is magnified, especially the sound of the engine. Oh, the engine!
Intervallo musicale.
Una capoa completamente automatica.
The Spider's real party trick is, of course, the hood. It's an absolute masterpiece. You don't even have to lift a finger to operate it. Well, you do actually, but that's all you have to do. No awkward clips or fasteners, and none of the, how shall I put it, rustic charm of the traditional Ferrari ragtops. It fits beautifully. Once the classic Pininfarina roofline of the coupe has been removed, the shape just gets better. I love the fact that I can see the beautiful air intake through the mirror and the sumptuous bulges of the body behind my head that lead to a window with the most glorious view in Italy.
Guidando.
I know what you've been thinking up to now. This isn't a car for the serious enthusiast, rather a toy made for posing, albeit performance posing. But you can't afford to dismiss the 360 Spider so readily. This car is no afterthought. It was developed alongside its coupe brother and has almost the same levels of rigidity and performance. It also comes from a thoroughbred bloodline. The very first car Enzo Ferrari built was, after all, an open top, as are the fastest Ferraris of them all. And believe me, when you are this close to the action, with all the smells, sounds and sensations of the Ferrari Philharmonic on full song behind you, driving doesn't get much better. And whether you're a Ferrari fanatic or not, this is one of the most exhilarating cars on Earth.
Still to come on tonight's Top Gear. Me, Jenson Button, 2 BMWs and Silverstone. But first, the Top Gear verdict, our brand new bite-sized road test feature. Each week we take a showroom newcomer and award its marks out of 10 in 5 important categories.
Seat, the hot-blooded Spanish cousins of the Volkswagen Audi group, now have a 6-speed diesel Alhambra.
I'm a little fed up with people worrying whether MPVs look car-like enough or not. These things are always going to be cumbersome. At the end of the day, Seat have simply stuck a new grille on the old Alhambra. The new styling inside is a vast improvement. Better quality plastics and a better layout. It feels more like an executive shuttle, really, than a family workhorse. Better inside than out. 5 out of 10. As before, 7 people is still going to be a squeeze, unless you happen to be miniature. And you can forget about luggage. If you want to get any in the back, you'll have to remove the rear 2 seats. And that means you may as well have an estate car. On the plus side, they have added some cubby holes. And wait for it, some cup holders. Same pros, same cons, and the latter outweigh the former. 4 out of 10. Stiffer springs and dampers are aimed at niftier handling. But come on, do you want to chuck an MPV around? All you end up with is a really firm ride. And spinal compression and shattered teeth aren't funny. However, if you do want to push it, a torquey engine and a 6-speed gearbox make an absolute DOS to keep on the pace. Harsh but fair, I'll give it 5 out of 10. At 19,500, the Alhambra makes a pretty good case for itself. You get air conditioning, 10-speaker stereo, side airbags, remote central locking, and a 3-year, 60,000-mile warranty. But this is the good bit. If you were to drive it very carefully, say I reckon you can get 750 miles out of a tank.
That is absolutely blinding. A splendid 8 out of 10.
If we're talking old school people carriers, then I suppose the closest rival is going to be the Ford Galaxy 1.9 TD. OK, it's 500 quid less, but it doesn't come with the generous wish list of the Seat. The real threat, however, is from the new wave of mini MPV, like the Zafira and the Scenic. They offer the same practicalities, are better to drive, cheaper, and are blissfully more compact. It's big and certainly not that clever. 1 out of 10. Nothing groundbreaking and very little to tempt people from their Zafiras.
So the Top Gear verdict on the Seat Alhambra TDI is a spirit-crushing 5 out of 10.
Over the years, I've raced many things on four wheels: Ginettas, Caterhams, single-seaters, and my first love, karts. But it's not every day a girl is asked to drive a 300 brake horsepower, 6-litre, 150,000 £, rear-wheel steer, front-wheel drive machine, even if it is a combine harvester. And I wish I'd never been asked. Even though these beasts have a top speed of just 10 miles an hour, there are people mad enough to race them and to do this, a demolition derby. I'll stick to the race, even though, being a farmer's daughter, I know they're supposed to cut corn, not corners. These combines have been prepared by local farmers, and everyone involved must attend the race briefing before the off, and I need to know how to make it go.
You jump up and we'll...
Jump up in the loosest possible sense of the word. It doesn't have any doors.
No doors.
No doors. Right. And in here.
In through there, yeah.
So what happens if I need to suddenly, like, get out quickly? You don't?
You don't.
I see. So, Tim, can you just run me through the controls?
Steering wheel, as you know.
With the lovely knob on, we like that.
Yeah. Gear levers, reverse, first, second, third.
Okay.
Okay. So you just select the gear, and that lever alters the speed in each gear you're in.
Right.
So that makes you go faster, that makes you go slower.
Okay.
That picks the front up and down.
Yep.
To either remove objects or whatever that are in your way.
Yep.
That's your throttle.
Okay.
And that one tells you what speed you've got this one set at. That's basically it.
Simple. I don't think, but there was no going back. I was going to have to race this 8-ton monster for 10 laps of an oval track in Cornwall. Would everything I've learned on the best circuits in Britain help me win? My first problem is a rolling start. And we're off. OK, full throttle, large it. Over the bumps, you don't get those at Silverstone. My first proper overtaking manoeuvre coming up. Now I don't know whether to take him on the outside. Oh, I've got to miss him with the table. Now I'm overtaking him. Oh yes, come on girl. Now can I cut back in? Yep. Nice tight inside line, throwing me out a little on the straights, flat out, cutting on the inside of a very slow tractor. My racecraft seemed to be working. That is, until they decided to cut up rough. I think I've been hit. Who's coming? I know I've got someone on the inside. Oh no, no, that's just not cricket. I'm being hit. This doesn't happen in my Ginetta racing. But by the last lap, I'd got the hang of it. Out of my way, boy. And I don't think he's very happy about it. Oh, we take the checkered flag. And I think third place. Why anyone wants to race him, I do know. Because it is damn good fun. Let's face it, life on the farm will never be the same.
Top Gear may only have been away for a few months, but plenty has happened in the meantime that affects us and you. For years, Top Gear has been leading the charge against the ludicrously high new car prices in the UK. But at long last, things have started to change. The government have launched the latest phase of their attack on car manufacturers, giving them just 3 months to offer fleet discounts to their dealers. The plan is to reduce what you pay by at least 10%. Prices are already on the way down, and more manufacturers are announcing reductions every single day. So new cars are getting cheaper, but if you're actually thinking of buying one, don't. Before you tackle that bewildering world of online car supermarkets, importing and main dealers, etc., make sure you watch our comprehensive guide on next week's programme. The number of independent car manufacturers has shrunk yet again. Mergers, takeovers and buyouts could soon leave us with just a handful of mega corporations deciding what you and I will be driving. Following Daimler Chrysler grabbing a chunk of Mitsubishi and the tie-up between General Motors and Fiat, Ford have been at it again. Not only have they spent almost £2 billion on Land Rover, now they're after a budget Korean in the shape of Daewoo. And what of newly independent Rover? Well, production of the 75 will start in Longbridge next month, and from next year we're promised a whole host of sporty MG saloons. Peter Stevens is their new head of design, the man who styled the McLaren F1 no less. The Dump the Pump campaign was an attempt to mobilise the power of the motorist to get the government to back down on petrol taxation. But the call to boycott all petrol stations on the 1st of August was a bit of a damp squib. But if the French government can reduce their fuel duty, then our Chancellor really has no excuses at all. Will we have long to wait for lower petrol prices? Well, fingers crossed, because there's a pre-budget announcement due in the autumn. But we've already heard from the big man himself. Yes, John Prescott's finally put his cards on the table with a 10-year plan for transport. He's spending £180 billion to cut congestion. What's in it for us? More roads. There'll be 100 new bypasses and 360 miles of trunk road and motorway will be widened. Don't get too excited though, because this is the dawn of the digital speed camera. Slowing down won't save you. They hunt in packs and work out your average speed. A major contribution to road safety or to police force coffers. So, it looks as though we're heading for a dull old world where it would be absolutely pointless us showing you any fast cars. Yeah, right.
So, diesel then. I know what you're thinking. Well, it may be time to think again. These are two new BMW 3 Series. Same old shape, but with new 3-litre engines. The silver one, the 330i, runs on petrol, while the gold one, the turbocharged 330d, runs on diesel. Normally, any driving enthusiast would jump straight into the petrol, but I'm told this is no ordinary diesel. It has, after all, already proved its performance potential by getting its first speeding ticket, courtesy of Grand Prix driver Jenson Button. So does this mean diesels have finally come of age? Well, let's see how the 330d measures up when compared to its petrol-driven brother. When it comes to money matters, the diesel looks promising. OK, with the new prices, you won't save anything when you buy it. They both now cost just under £27,000. But it will average 41 miles to the gallon, 10 more than the petrol. It will cost a bit more to service, but you'll save on insurance because it's rated 2 groups lower. So, if you want to save yourself a pound or two, the diesel wins the day. But what's it like to live with? Well, for starters, there's no getting away from the fact that your friends will know you've bought a diesel. Now, that may not matter to you, but me, I'm getting a bit worried about the mounting evidence that diesel emissions are more harmful to us humans than petrol ones. On the inside, though, it's hard to tell that you are in a diesel, as the soundproofing smothers the noise. But once that rev counter needle hits 4,800, the game's up. Once you've got used to changing up early, you've got to get used to making the most of the extra torque the turbo diesel produces. More, in fact, than a Ferrari 360 Modena. On the minus side, there is noticeable turbo lag at lower revs, and all that extra torque only really offers any advantage to the lazy motorway driver who can't be bothered to change down. The diesel also gives away 50 horsepower to its petrol-powered brother, but it's basically the same car underneath and steers, brakes and handles just as well. But BMWs are supposed to be the ultimate driving machines, and I reckon the only way to truly test the diesel is to pitch it head-to-head against the petrol version on the track. And who better to drive the 330i than the BMW Williams Formula 1 superstar, Jenson Button. Jenson, you've already had a little speeding ticket in the diesel. Were you impressed with its performance?
Yeah, I can't really say too much about it, obviously. It was a silly thing to do, but it is a very impressive car.
You've used it quite a bit.
For a diesel, the speed you can get up to in it, I think it's a great motorway car. I don't know about a town car, but it's good. So your Formula 1 season's been fantastic. I mean, have you almost been surprised how easy you found it? I think the driving is probably the easiest bit of all. Obviously, there is a lot of technical stuff to learn, but away from the circuit is probably the most difficult bit, all the promotional stuff and all the press stuff.
Finally, we know you're going to Benetton. Are you looking forward to that change?
Yeah, it should be good. I mean, it's a different colour, looks interesting. And I think it's a good team to be with, Briatore and also Renault coming back in. I think it's going to be a good couple of years.
Great. Well, first of all, though, before you get to Benetton, we've got to sort out this diesel versus petrol version. So, your car, sir.
I'm happy you're in the diesel.
Thank you, Jenson. Oh, no! He's doing a Schumacher on me!
Look at that! Tiff, come on!
See there, 0 to 60, there's no doubt the petrol's a bit quicker.
Come on, Tiff! Is this the car or is it Tiff, though? That is the question.
Two sideways, one way, and the other. He's kicking stones and bullets at me now. It may have got a lot of torque, but it's power that counts when you're using the revs on a racetrack. Oh, he's gone wide.
Oh, on the grass.
It's the pressure getting to him. Oh, I'll have him. No, he won't. Giving us a glimmer of hope. It's getting greasier. No, he's pulling away again.
Hey, there you go. Tiff, you lost again.
And so did the diesel. The 330D is very good, but the 330i is quite superb.
So the BMW 3 Series may be great, but Mercedes reckon their new C-Class is even better. Well, is it? Find out on next week's Top Gear. Also in next week's show, Vicky tests the best car you've never heard of.
The GTSR, where R stands for RRR.
And Tiff gets back on track racing the Lotus Elise.
Oh yeah, then there's this. Everyone's wondering what the new Mini will look like, and we'll be able to show you. But not until next week. See you then.